Hey guys, I just want to talk about silly season. I don't know if I'm allowed to call it silly season. Christmas, the festive period, the lead up to Christmas, going out, caning it, um, and what to do, what not to do, just how to manage it really. I find that with Christmas coming up, everything can either go out the window or you can spend every day thinking about, right, when January begins, that's it, I'm going to go for it. And goals that you've been thinking about or wanting to reach or trying to reach, but almost never really getting there. You take 3 steps forward, you stay ahead for a little while, and then it's 1 or 2 or 10,000 steps backwards. And you're just constantly on this game of catch up or hoping. And then when Christmas comes in, it just amplifies that. December for me is a really difficult time actually because I don't really enjoy the food that is served around Christmas, but I definitely tuck into it. If it's there, of course, I'm going to eat it. I'm with friends. Um, and if I'm being mindful about it, I don't really always like using the word mindful because the meaning of it is not really very clear or specific anymore. If I'm really thinking about what I'm putting into my mouth in that moment, it's far from what I'd rather be eating, but I'm with my mates, it's the food that's available, and I'm hungry. Um, so it's not really a problem. But if I'm working towards a fat loss goal or looking to boost my optimum nutrition, feel as good as possible, and wake up the next day and not feel like a rubbish bin, then the foods that I'm very likely to be putting in my mouth at Christmas parties or work parties are not conducive to that. So what do you do? How do you get around it? And it's not always a case of not eating it. Enjoy yourself. If you enjoy those foods as well, eat them. But if they're getting in the way of you reaching particular goals, you need to look at that and you need to address that. So how do you do it? One, you want to look at what foods you can put in that will balance the effect of the foods or the drink, by the way, that you're putting into your body that keeps you from reaching that goal. Gives you the dark circles, that causes poor sleep, that you know keeps you from being as slim as you would actually like to be. What foods will balance that? So if you're going to be having booze that night, or you're going to be having a large meal, don't starve yourself before and don't starve yourself the next day, because you know what's going to end up happening. You're more likely to eat more that night at the party anyway, or you're more likely to stuff yourself the next morning because you're starving and you starved yourself. So what good foods can you put in? And it can be a juice, it can be whole food versions of what would go in a juice, greens, fruits, vegetables, um, healthier lean proteins. It doesn't have to be battered, it doesn't have to be fried. If you go onto my website, there is a 3-day cleanse, the body cleanse guide. It's free, just pop your email in there, I'll send it over to you. There's a ton of recipes and you can get creative with them as well. Once you've made them once or twice, you can put a recipe together that suits you, suits your taste buds, and suits your lifestyle really, and the equipment you've got available to you, or where you are in the world, what supermarket around the corner is or isn't available to you. So we choose the right foods that are going to balance out what we're eating that night. It's like a bank account. If you're going to spend money, you've got to make sure you're earning the money. If you're going to spend, your allowance, you've only got so many cards to play with, right? On treat foods, you want to put in the good foods first. And definitely try to put them in after. If you already have in mind the breakfast you're going to have the day after, you're going to be far less likely to choose the bacon butty or whatever, usually greasy food that is not conducive to getting you back on the right track of eating good foods that are going to contribute to better skin, better feeling inside. And then also, you could look at minimizing the damage of the foods or the drink that you're going to be having that night or that day. It could be an all-dayer. Now, there's no point in going out and having the healthy version of, or having the salad with the wilted lettuce leaves that you look at and think, oh, and everyone else is looking at that and then looking at you thinking, flipping heck, have a little bit of fun. But how can you minimize the damage? And it could be a simple case of being very clear before you go out that you're going to have not more than 2 or 3 drinks. Some of you might be going, yeah, right. Okay, choose something that's realistic for you. Or if you're looking at your week, You could say, okay, of my 7 days, I'm only going to go out and drink 1 or 2 or 3 nights that week. You can still go out every night that week if you want to, but you make a conscious decision that you're not going to have alcohol every night, or you're not going to have the burger every night, or you're not going to have the chips every night. You decide when you're going to fall off the wagon ahead of time. Because then if you've planned it, actually, you're not really falling off the wagon, you're stepping off the wagon. So it becomes very easy simply to step back onto it again. If you plan ahead, you kind of plan to fail, you're not failing at all. You're choosing your route and you're walking on 2 feet. There's no stumbling, there's no fumbling around. You know exactly where you're going. You know exactly when you're veering off course and you're able to veer straight back on again. I don't want to teach you guys to suck eggs. You know to eat more greens, you know to eat more fruit. If you want to lose weight, you want to lose fat, eat less, move more. Eat more of the right things and less of the wrong things. But if you can look at the mentality and the psychology of your eating, if you can plan ahead before you start losing control because you might be a little bit drunk or you're excited because you're out with your friends, if you plan ahead of those times when you go out, you're in a far better place to be making the right decisions and sticking to them. Same with the next day. You'll feel better, you'll have more energy, you're probably going to be more likely to choose the right food that's going to keep you on the right track, whatever the track is. I'm not saying the right track is eating nothing but fruit and vegetables. The right track is the track that you've chosen, and there are certain foods that are going to be conducive to that. And they do tend to be fruits and vegetables. Thank you so much. I hope I've not been on a soapbox or taught anybody to suck eggs. Have a really good day.